back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Tim.
I'm Rod.
And today we're going to be taking a look at Star Trek Attack Wing. This is put out by WizKids Game. Technically, it's just a two-player game, and they say plays in about 60 minutes. So we're going to talk about the game today and what you get in the starter box. And obviously, all this other stuff that you see is not included in the starter box. That would be awesome if it was, but it's not. So we're going to talk about the game, how it plays, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so if you're interested in components and rules, click right here. If you're just interested in maybe how the game plays, you can click right here. And then if you just want to learn about our opinions of the game, click right here. So, Tim, do you want to tell us about the rules of the game and how hard it is to learn, that kind of thing?
Sure. There's basic concept to the game of, you know, your mini versus their mini. They'll sit up on these stands. So this well, that's the quick start rules, but the rule books is actually pretty small. It's more about referencing for special words that are on the cards, because the game is pretty simple. It's 3 phases, and you just keep repeating it until you reach the end of the scenario. The instructions do a great job of setting that up for you. They do pictures, and they do bold words, all the stuff I'm fans of. They even have a starter scenario for you, just so you can just straight out of the starter box, so you can play a couple scenarios and get a really good feel of the game and understand, like, okay, now this is where I want to build from this point. So, and then of course the reference sheet on the back is probably what you'll just have laid out. 99% of the time you'll just have it laid out with the reference sheet out, and you'll play with just that.
Yeah. Rod, do you want to talk about the components that come in the starter?
Okay, so looking at the components, what you're going to get is you're going to get 3 ships with the basic box set. You're going to get the dice that's needed for it. You're going to get
the tokens, the
tokens for each one of the ships. You're going to get each one of the
tokens.
Well, what would you call these exactly?
Those are the distance markers.
Distance markers. And then, of course, the cards for the ships for the different scenarios you can play. Because when you're playing this game is that each ship will have different cards with it, and you're able to have different variations of cards, which makes the ship act differently. You can do different things for the ship. All in all, the components are great. The miniatures are really nice. The ones that come with the base sets are very, very, very nice. Some of the other ones, some of them on the smaller scale ones, I'm not big fans because they're kind of warped a little bit. That could probably be taken a look at. But all in all, like this stuff right here, big stuff, fantastic. Really, if you're a Star Trek fan and you're looking for a game like X-Wing, this is fantastic. Really nice, really nice set.
So the basic idea to this game is, like Tim said, there's 3 phases to the game. So at the beginning, each person is going to have a dial. And so this is a rotating dial that shows you all the movements that this particular ship can make. So at the beginning, everybody is going to choose a movement. So they're going to go through and they're going to say, okay, I want to turn 3, a hard 3 or whatever. So the catch to this is you can't actually pick up what you want to use and place it down. You're just doing your best judgment. So that really does play into the game, because you think that, you know, a hard right will get you where you want, and you didn't realize that that took the arc of your shooting pattern out, so you're not able to shoot someone. So you're trying to do your best guess on what movement you're going to make, and your best guess on where the other people are going to move, because when you choose your movement, then everybody plays their movement out, and then after movements, then it goes to the shooting phase. So you could move somewhere, and then that person, you wouldn't even be able to shoot them. So that's how that works. So the first stage is to plan your movement, and then the second stage is you're going to, or is that all in the same stage? You're just,
yeah, it's the planning phase. You put this down and you do your action. Well, then next is everybody in order.
Right.
Flips it over, does their action.
Yeah. So the second thing is everybody actually goes through and does their movement. So based off of the ranking that you have on your card, the captain ranking that you have determines who goes first. So in movement, it goes the lowest to the highest, right. And then so after you move, then you get to perform an action. And so each ship has a certain set of actions that you could do. So you could put a target lock on somebody, you can evade, you can do I don't know, what are the other ones? So there's a few other.
There's sensor sweeps, battle stations. There's also cloaking and the sensor echo, all kinds of stuff like that.
So what's neat about that is in each individual ship or character that you're using with the ship then is going to change what kind of actions that you can take. So you take that action, then after everybody's moved, then you go through the shooting phase. So depending on if people are in your range, and that has to do with how close they are to you, and also the firing arc that that particular ship has. So some of them have a rear fire, some of them don't, some of them can only fire forward, and then the arc is different on some ships. Some ships have a 360, some ships just have like this 90-degree kind of, or 45-degree in front of them, you know, that it ranges. So basically you're actually going to go and you're going to measure between you and another ship and see if you can hit them, and if you can, then you roll for that. And so the combat system is real easy. It's just going to tell you, so if you're firing, you're going to have the red dice, and then if you're defending, you have the green dice. And so you're going to roll for hits, and then they're going to roll for evades or dodges, whatever they're called, and then you just add it up. And then obviously the actions can augment that and change the results of that, but for the most part it's just add it up, subtract it, and then that's if they hit or not. And then you go through your shield. So each ship has different stats. You go through your shields first, then you get to the what do you call them? Hull points, and then after that, if you get down to 0, then you're out. So that's the basic. I don't want to take a whole lot of time talking about all of it, but basically that's it. You're just moving, taking an action, shooting, and then you do it again. You just reset, and you just keep going until you've reached the victory condition of that scenario, or if the other person's blown away. So
yeah.
Okay.
And it can also play more than 2 players, because it's definitely set up for like team fights. So if you want to have a couple people in Federation, a couple people as the Klingons, you can do that. The initial scenario actually plays out for 3 players really well, because it allows for the Romulans, the Klingons, and the Federation to all play. So that's pretty nice too.
Okay, well, let's talk about what we think about the game, maybe good and bad about it. So anybody want to start?
I can go. I play miniature games a lot, and so this one's really nice because it's actually cheaper, because the pieces already come assembled with everything you need. They're already pre-painted, so you don't have to worry about the whole hobby aspect of the modeling, you know, putting stuff together, painting it, and all that stuff. And so they actually come cheaper than normal miniature models. Of course, not the big ones.
It's huge.
It actually came like this in the box, and it's massive. It's pretty expensive for these bigger pieces, but still inexpensive, comparatively speaking, for miniature games. So I really like that. The simple combat mechanics, there's almost no arguments as far as, you know, line of sight and movements and stuff like that, because it's all based on these tokens. So they keep it nice and simple. The dice rolls are really simple. So they keep it, the fun is actually in the tactics.
The thing that's I think really the positive thing on this one is the value. I think, man, when this is set up on a table and you're playing, you really kind of get into it, especially with these big pieces. It really pulls you into it. The price on it, I think, is reasonably fair. I mean, if you look at, if you're to buy a model and build it, it's going to cost you $60 to do it. Let's face it. And this looks better than what I would do. And the other thing is, I mean, let's do it. Let's just, I mean, like compared to like the Dungeons and Dragons, you know, the dragons are smaller. These are much larger pieces. These are very, very nice. This is a nice miniature set.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I played a couple miniatures games with you, and we got the tape measures out, and we're trying to figure it out. And there is, it's a great point about arguing and can't figure it out. This is dummy proof. I mean, it's really, I chose 3 soft left, you know, and then you put it out, and then you play it. I mean, the only hard thing, I guess, is, you know, we have had a couple arguments as far as, you know, I mean, right on the edge of where it is and stuff like that. But for the most part, I mean, you get to playing quickly. So, oh, okay, I turn the dial, okay, then I go, and so instantly you feel like it's an air combat game because you're moving around, and so you're trying to think 2 or 3 turns ahead, which I'm not good at, but you're trying to, and so you're trying to get your guy to where you want to be, and then when the other guy doesn't do what you thought he was going to do and ruins your plans, and now he's behind you, and you're totally going to get blown away. Like, it just makes for a lot of fun and all that kind of stuff, playing that out on the table.
I do have one other thing too, was the cards. We kind of talked about this. It's a plus and a minus with them. Some are a little dark, so it's kind of hard to see what they're trying to portray. I mean, just you know, what the picture is exactly, but they're actually taking the footage from the show, so it's a cell from the show, so I can understand that. But it is a little dark on some of them, it's hard to see them. But by them doing that, they've also pulled you into the game, into the world more. You know, they use them. You really feel like you're part of that episode or something. Because we did the con one, and that was so much fun. You know, I loved being con. I thought that was a blast. I felt like it really pulled you like you're that character.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, okay.
Should we go do our rating?
Yep. So at the end of our reviews, we like to do a one-die rating if we think that you should buy it, play it, or hate it. So green means go out and buy this game, add it to your collection. White means you wouldn't buy it, but maybe you'd play it. And then red means don't buy it and don't play it because you hate it. Okay, so we'll put our dice out there and reveal. Oh, okay. Two greens and a white. Okay, so tell us why you gave it a green.
I gave it a green because it's a great fun game. They took it a little bit further than X-Wing with a couple more mechanics and real heavy on the scenario because they have a lot of missions, and every expansion, which is what they call a model, comes with its own mission and scenario with it. So every single one of these, so every time you buy a new ship, you get a new scenario. Tokens like extra planets or asteroids or minefields or something, so it's really cool.
That's awesome.
I liked it.
I gave it a white, and I'm on the edge because I totally love the game. So there's nothing negative that I would say about it, but I don't want to get into another world where I'm going to be tempted to buy all these extra pieces, you know, because every one, you know, I mean, if you're buying this at a local game store, it's cheap, and like what you're saying, it is cheaper than a miniatures game, but it's just a whole nother world that I would have to get into and I'd want to do. And so for me, that's my only reason that I wouldn't. But you put this on the table, I'll show up to your house and we'll play it, you know, and I'll have a blast. So
I did green, and I was wavering between the two because it's kind of hard to make a decision on. The reason is because, you know, here Tim's bought all the stuff, and now am I going to go out and buy it right now? No, because Tim's got it and he's going to bring it over and we're going to use it all, and he's going to keep up with it in the same way that I'll keep up with X-Wing or something. But if he would not have bought it, I would have ended up probably buying it. So that's the reason I went ahead and said green. So if you're out there and you haven't purchased it, you haven't got a chance to play it, it's definitely worth purchasing. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right, so that's our review of Star Trek Attack Wing. We've got a lot more reviews online. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check us out. And as always,
support your local hobby shop.